My name is Lydia Chowning, and I'm in the South American area on the Amazon River where Brazil, Colombia, and Peru come together. My ministry started in 1999 with my husband. The missionaries that we went with used your literature, and so when we came, the literature was there, and so that's how we got in contact with it. Our first year and a half was on the banks of the Amazon River, rebuilding buildings for a Bible school for the Ticuna tribe. And then we started doing ministry in the communities and taking WMP literature into the communities, as well as doing kids ministry and evangelism services. We lived in town, and we live on the Brazil side of the city. The city is a city of 100,000 people, but it's still kind of a small town city. In 2005, I began to do a lot more of my profession, which is teaching English as a second language, and my husband was still going out on the rivers until he became totally blind with glaucoma and could not go anymore. That was his ministry. So we take literature around to different churches and make sure that they have the literature that they need. So everybody knows who we are pretty much because of the literature ministry that is there. We live in a part of the world that is very remote from everywhere else. It's a 2-hour airplane ride to the closest city. So you can see we're kind of in a little circle of nothing there except jungle. And so it's kind of hard to get any literature into the area. So the literature part of our ministry has been a big thing for all of the years that we've been there. The gospel has been in South America as far as the Catholic Church ever since the first explorers were there. But the Protestant church has been in the area where we are since 1950s. So it's an old mission. There are a few tribes that are closed tribes, and they are just now starting to have the ability to be open to people ministering with them. But there are many, many, many churches in the town, in the city where we are. There are many different denominations, so sometimes even your literature goes to Catholic churches as well as the Protestant churches in that area. We've showed it to the Catholic bishop, and he said it's awesome. He likes it very much. The Catholics appreciate the Bible almost more than the rest of them do because they understand that the Bible is where the base is. So many of my English students are Catholics. And so we quite often, I'll take some booklet or something like that with me, and their favorite is Psalms, so they like to have the book of Psalms. The biggest ministry challenge is the inability to get literature to the area because it is so remote. Right now, we're having a problem in that the only way to actually get it into the area is through Colombia. And so we have to get it from Bogota to Leticia. We usually have one tributary that we could ship it by a boat, and it would be cheaper. But the pirates have taken over that tributary, so we don't get it. If we send it down that tributary, all of the literature disappears. If we send it from in Brazil and it gets to Manaus, we don't get it. And for me, it's important, if you're going to do evangelism or anything like that, it seems like you've got to have something that they can read later on. Otherwise, there's not a strength in the spirit. So literature has been a big part of our ministry because of the fact that we believe you need it. In order to really have strong Christian growth, you need something that they can look at later on. My passion is the encouragement for the military, for the Colombian military. I teach English to the officers in the military, and I see the challenges that they have. They have a lot of suicide in the Colombian military. It's been averaging 40 per month, and that is including even some of the military kids as young as 8 years of age. So that, to me, is a big problem. And so we found out that with a little Christmas gift and the World Missionary Press literature in those gifts, that we can prevent the suicide in the area. There has not been a suicide in that area in the military since 2012 when we started the Project Christmas for the soldiers, and the commanders gave me a medal because of the fact that they feel like I'm kind of responsible for that. One of the years, a lieutenant saw the scripture booklets in the bags, and he said, just kind of quietly on the side, he said, these soldiers don't read. And so he put a box on the table, and he said, if any of you don't want your books or something like that, well, you can just put them on the table. Well, another of our helpers, our sponsors, had given a bunch of hair gel that year. Well, I don't know if you know, but soldiers have their hair cut really, really short. So he got a whole bunch of hair gel. He did not get one single World Missionary Press booklet in his box. So that was kind of funny to watch his reaction to that. He was like, well, I guess they do read. And usually World Missionary Press booklets are in a plastic sack inside their gift so that they don't get ruined or anything like that. And they will almost always just put it inside their shirts whenever they see it. So we know it's going to be read and everything else. And I've seen those World Missionary Press booklets in all kinds of disrepair. And I just like to know that it's with them, no matter where they are or what they're facing. I'd like to know that they've got that with them. And being that they are small and they have the pictures in them and they have the colored back and front, usually, I think it actually kind of makes it special for them because there's not a lot of books that have pictures in them or anything like that. And the fact that it can fit in a shoulder pocket, I think also makes it interesting to them. I don't think there's a lot of soldiers that are facing death pretty much every day. I don't think they're very much atheists because in Colombia there's always some place that is in conflict because of the drugs going through there. No, they know every single day that they are in danger. If they go into the military atheist, I don't think they stay atheists very long. Most of them are Catholics, so they do believe in God. They like to have a little card that has the Lord's Prayer, and they like to have a little cross. If we give them crosses, they'll immediately put them on their dog tag. I'm so grateful for World Missionary Press and the literature that you give because it's Bible. It's not slanted for one doctrine or another. It's just Bible. And so that has been really impressive to me. Also impressive is the fact that World Missionary Press makes sure that the translations are very correct. So we don't have to go through the books and make sure that they are readable. And believe me, we get some that are that way. So I know what I'm looking at there with that. And also the fact that World Missionary Press says it free tracts, but we don't have to buy them. World Missionary Press is offering them free and is doing a world-class job of shipping. And so we just really appreciate the work that World Missionary Press is doing.